Our next presenter has had a year to remember in 2021, being one of the biggest gainers in the microcap world year to date. It is also the top returner from the Zooming with LD series over the past 18 months. Nanalysis, ticker NSCI on the TSX and NSCIF on the OTC, is revolutionizing the way companies analyze things. The company's benchmark NMR spectrometers allow chemists, researchers, engineers, and students to perform spectroscopy tests wherever and whenever they need. Joining us on the call today to give us an update and overview, it is my privilege and pleasure to welcome the founder, president, and CEO of Nanalysis, Mr. Sean Krakiwsky. Sean, kudos to an incredible year. Your team deserves a lot of credit. The floor is now yours.
Thank you very much, Chris. It's a pleasure to be here. And yes, it's been a fabulous year. And of course, we do have an incredible team with our company that's really driving towards our vision and creating value for shareholders. So thanks again for the opportunity to be here. And I guess I'll just go right into the slides. So we make portable NMR and MRI machines for industrial and healthcare applications. And yeah, we're allowing our customers to analyze whatever they want, whenever they want. We do seek safe harbor for forward-looking statements. So I'm the founder and CEO of Nanalysis. I started the business 11 years ago, and it's taken a tremendous amount of work by, I'll say dozens of people, but really hundreds of people to get here. By education, I have a master's degree in electrical engineering, but really I'm a tech startup guy. My first startup was internet software associated with wireless location services in the mid to late 90s. My second startup was high performance computing. And then I'm really excited to be doing a magnetic resonance play right now here and supported by some fabulous shareholders. Where we're trading at today, we have a market cap of about 110 million. We have 77 million outstanding shares. There's no cheap paper out there, but there are about 5 million warrants at $1.70. We're at a revenue run rate, if you just look at our recent financials, of about 17 million. We're well capitalized, and we've raised quite a bit of money since inception. Just a fabulous management team. I guess I'll highlight our incredible CFO, who's been working very hard over the last 12 months with tremendous M&A experience and corporate finance experience. And then our CTO, Julien Miller, has a real unique vision for the future of magnetic resonance. So our vision is to disrupt the MRI space. We feel like it's broken. It's not working the way it should work. And we're going to participate in that revolution. And here's how we think it should work. So if you're playing football on a Friday night in East Texas and you get your bell rung, should just be able to go into your locker room, have an MRI of your head and determine conclusively if you've had a concussion or not. Or any one of us should be able to make an appointment at our local CVS pharmacy or sit down in a nice chair and have an MRI of our prostate area, of our ovaries, and we should be connected to the cloud, driven by AI, access through a trusted service like WebMD, and then we should get a pleasant message saying something like, nothing wrong with our prostate, nothing wrong with our ovaries, no need to consult your doctor. So that's, please consider doing this again 1 year from now, kind of a thing. So that's our grand vision. That's where we're going in terms of where we are in the market right now. We have proven products. We've got an impressive suite of intellectual property, and we've been demonstrating explosive revenue growth and indeed some profitability on an EBITDA basis. Just want to get calibrated with everybody and talk a little bit about magnetic resonance. So there's sort of part of this story that everybody will kind of get, and then there's a twist, and it's the twist that makes us unique. And Chris kind of alluded to that twist in his very kind introduction. So I've depicted here an MRI machine in a hospital, very large. Uses superconducting magnets, liquid helium to keep them cool, very expensive, very complicated to use, behind a gatekeeper, isn't portable in any sense of the word portable. And so that's the part that everybody will get. But the twist is, and this is what most people don't know, is that these machines are also used for industrial analysis of everything from jet fuel to olive oil, advanced materials, new drugs, cannabis oils. and they're configured slightly differently, but it's the same superconducting technology requiring liquid helium to keep them cool. They weigh more than your car. They're behind a gatekeeper. And I've depicted one of these configurations on the left here with the person in the lab coat. It's the same low-level electronics, and indeed it's the same math and physics. And so what we've done is we've miniaturized that technology, and I've shown some of our products on the right. We're building up a strong business foundation with the industrial analysis side of this opportunity. And then, as I mentioned, we have this grand vision to eventually leverage the commonalities between medical imaging, magnetic resonance, and magnetic resonance for industrial analysis to one day disrupt the MRI space. Today, our business is capital equipment sales at high gross margins. This is our product portfolio. I'm not going to go through all of them, but we have products at different price points. We do have a real medical imaging product. About $2 million of our trailing 12-month revenue is actual medical imaging. It's not the full system. It's sold on an OEM basis to tier 2 preclinical companies like Mediso. Today, our gross margins are about 65%. We think we can push them in the direction of 75%. Through acquisitions and also organic activity, we're also starting to superimpose software and software as a service on our capital equipment business model, and then we'll also be introducing consumables part of our business going forward. It's been an incredible 10 years. We built the company from scratch with a fabulous early team that's still all together. I hired some pretty smart people from Caltech and MIT and made them part of the founding group, and that group is still all together. And then we just layered on tremendous pieces as we've gone from stage to stage in our business. We've built out a full-blown operating company, and our vision is to continue to scale that and kind of build a multi-billion-dollar market cap, over 4,000 employees kind of company. So it's not just about technology or technology licensing. It's about, proving out every aspect of the growth model. Since we've gone public 2 years ago, we've done what we've said we were going to do in terms of announcing 3 acquisitions, launching a new product, which has had tremendous uptake in the marketplace, sort of positioning us really well for an amazing 2022 and 2023. So, we've done what we said we were going to do, and we've been rewarded in the public markets for that. All the intellectual property is proprietary, patent protected with an exciting patent pipeline. We develop a massive amount of intellectual property every single day with our roughly 50 R&D scientists and engineers, and it's proprietary manufacturing as well. And the fruit of that is, if you got a hold of one of our products in China, you had 10 PhDs working for you that were smart enough to understand our patents, you still wouldn't be able to reverse engineer the technology unless you knew exactly what's going on in our manufacturing facility. So our growth model is to continue to be an innovation company. We'll always be a company that builds new products and it has aggressive R&D program. But we're also partnering with industrial customers that are taking our product on an OEM basis, adding value, and then going deep into particular verticals. And we've announced several of those partnerships, and we're incubating several others. And then we're going to continue to buy companies. We have a specific acquisition pipeline that I've been developing for 11 years, companies that we have strong relationships with, that we're working with on a contractual basis. They're complementary companies. It's not a roll up. So there's some major strategic aspect to them. They tend to be run by kind of scientist founder type guys. So we tend to be able to get by them at 1x trailing 12 months sales, spend about 6 months sort of fixing them a little bit, increasing their revenue run rate, and then it becomes even more accretive to existing shareholders. So you'll continue to see that. And then in terms of how we communicate with the financial community, which is a key part of our growth strategy, what you'll see is over time, we'll use more and more the language of the medical imaging side of this opportunity, because that's the side that the financial community understands most. I just really like to emphasize what I call the appification of magnetic resonance, which is part of our theme to not only miniaturize technology, and it is true that we're miniaturizing technology, but we're also democratizing it. And a big part of democratizing it on the technology level is to make the data interpretable by non-experts. So if you have a PhD in chemistry, or if you're a radiologist, you can interpret the data on the left of this slide and indeed take actions on it. But our customers are telling us that in the future, it's not going to be experts that are using our machines, but it's going to be like a mining technician who just wants to see one number, lithium in this brine pool, or a prison official who just wants to know, is there fentanyl in this suspicious white powder, yes or no? So some of these apps we develop on our own, and then more complicated ones we develop with third parties. We're really excited about the general space that we're in. Scientific instrumentation is a huge and growing global market. The addressable part of this opportunity for us today is about $3 billion per year. And we think with ongoing miniaturization and democratization, we can grow the addressable part of this opportunity. In terms of who we sell to today, we sell to like the biggest companies in the world, like DuPont and BASF, Pfizer, Eli Lilly. But we also sell to two-person little biotech startups. We sell to the most famous universities in the world, like Harvard and MIT, but we'll also sell to community colleges in rural Mississippi or rural India. And by the way, in those places, there are no liquid helium trucks driving around to keep superconducting magnets cool. So the cryogen-free aspect of our technology is a big growth driver. And then we sell to government labs all over the world as well. We just have a fabulous team, as I mentioned before, on top of the founding group that's still with us. We've layered on tremendously talented people as we've gone from phase to phase in our business. In terms of our VP of sales slot that at the bottom left here, I put this in for two reasons, because we're really excited about a new VP of sales that we brought on board, but it's also sort of emblematic of a key part of our acquisition strategy to fully integrate key executives when we acquire the companies, and I gave the example of our CTO, who's from a company that we acquired about a year and a half ago in Europe, and our new VP of sales, after we just transitioned out a senior VP of sales who's just turning 7 years old. He did a great job for us since we acquired his company about a year and a half, 2 years ago. He did everything he said he was going to do and is on now much deserved retirement. Well, we're bringing up a great new, young guy, 45 years of age, in the prime of his career, with a great background, and that's going to be associated with the acquisition that we just announced a couple of weeks ago of K-Prime Technologies. So, we're always looking for great people to add to our team. We have a senior independent board of directors as well. It's worth talking about Martin Burian, our chairman. He's got tremendous investment banking and M&A experience. He kind of rides shotgun with me and our CFO as VP Corporate Development on these acquisitions that we do. And then also Werner Gartner is the chairman of our audit committee on our board. And he's a former CFO of a large NASDAQ listed company called Novotel GPS. So really tremendous experience on our board of directors. And that's the end of our presentation, other than to emphasize that we just have terrific, very well-educated, talented, motivated people. Our employees are shareholders in our company, and they're really working hard to drive us towards our vision. Most of our people are in our facility in Canada, but we also have a large office in Calgary. And now with the acquisition that we announced of K-Prime Technologies, we've also established a significant presence in Phoenix. And the United States is our most important market. So growing out our business down there physically is a key part of it. So before this latest acquisition, we're at 90 people, but with this acquisition that we're going to close by the end of this year, there'll be an additional 40 people. So that'll take us to 130 people. And so you can really see that we're a business with a lot of heft to us now. We're not just a tech startup. And again, as I mentioned before, we're positioned really well, to do something somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 to 40 million in revenue in 2022. And then we think we can double that again in 2023. So that's the end of my presentation, and happy to answer questions or engage in any kind of discussion.
Sean, thank you for the presentation. I just took a look at your photo, and it's almost like a Where's Waldo thing to find you. But what's incredible is you made a huge cardinal CEO mistake. Do you know what that is in this photo?
Sorry.
You were the only person. You were the only person wearing a suit.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, I've clearly identified myself as being somebody who's joined the dark side. So.
And then where's Luke? I don't see him.
Yeah, this is a bit of an old picture. That's a really good question. We definitely need to update this picture. It is not. I would say it's not up to date enough for sure.
Oh no, the next one's going to be much bigger. And again, it is testament to what you guys are building and the value add of your products. So for anyone who wants to ask a question using the chat format, you could submit it, or you can email it to me at chris@ldmicro.com. There are a few, and let me know when you're ready, and we'll go right through them.
I'm ready as long as you're seeing the text come through, because I don't.
Okay, no problem. Revenues were up significantly year over year. Where is most of this growth coming from?
Well, it's coming from continued demand for our existing products, our 60 megahertz and our 100 megahertz, which we just started shipping this year. And then also our acquisition of a company in Europe that has sort of exposed us a little bit more to the medical imaging side of the opportunity. And we've had significant revenue from them as well.
Okay, there was actually quite a few questions, Sean, on the acquisitions. So I'm going to go through all of them right now. How many acquisitions did you guys end up making this year? And was integration to Nanalysis relatively seamless?
This year, it has been 2. The previous year was 1. And so we fully integrated the one that we acquired a year and a half ago. And then the one that we acquired, One Moon Scientific, in the summertime, was a small acquisition, mostly a technology tuck-in, and that has been fully integrated. And then a couple of weeks ago, we just announced a binding agreement with the third acquisition called K Prime Technologies. It's a company we've known for quite a while, and we've already started the integration, even though formally the deal hasn't closed, but it'll close. It'll close before the end of the year.
The next question on the acquisition side is, what are you guys primarily looking for? Is it on the technical side? Is it to build revenues? What's kind of the primary thing that you're looking for before pulling the trigger and buying these companies?
Yeah, it's all different. So picture a large company like Thermo Scientific or Bruker Corporation or Siemens or General Electric, right? And when I say Siemens and General Electric, I don't mean the conglomerate part of their business. I mean the scientific instrumentation parts of their business, right? Picture those giant companies, with well over 5,000 employees and multiple buildings. We're building companies like that right now with compact NMR as the thin edge of the wedge, and with a vision to disrupt the MRI space. So by making these different types of acquisitions, some hardware, some software, the recent one was sales and service. So service and sales in every major market of the world is an important part of our vision as well. So we're bolting on complementary businesses.
Got it. And if this was a hockey game, what period would it be?
Well, this would be like the first 5 minutes of the first period, I would say.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So, and I apologize. That question was pertaining to the acquisition side. So I'm assuming that you're going to be just as active for 2022 and beyond.
Yeah, sorry. I thought you meant in terms of just our overall business. We just feel like we're just getting started in our overall business. But in terms of the specific acquisitions that I have planned, roughly 10 of them, we're at the end of the first period.
And then in terms of the acquisitions that you guys made, was it mostly cash? Was it mostly stock, or was it a combination of both?
A little bit of cash and mostly locked up stock.
Awesome. And then can you give a bit of background on your CTO and his history with the company?
Yeah, so he started off his career with Bruker Corporation, which is a large magnetic resonance company based in Boston, listed on the NASDAQ. And that's kind of where he learned, his trade, and it kind of really got excited about the potential of magnetic resonance. And then he got involved in this company we acquired called RS2D well over 15 years ago, and worked side by side with the founder, who is that gentleman who we just transitioned into retirement, who was our senior VP of sales. So he's got a real entrepreneurial spirit, but also a fabulous background with working for a big company in magnetic resonance.
So I've obviously become close to you guys over the last few years, and really value that relationship. So I can ask you this question: what does your day-to-day look like, Sean, typically? It's like, when do you typically wake up? I mean, when do you hit the emails? I mean, I'm very curious as to kind of seeing this, because you are growing. Okay. And you said that you were in the first 5 minutes of the first period. So where do you see yourself spending the most time these days?
Yeah, I definitely helicopter around for sure. So, I do have a technical background. I'm not an accountant, thankfully, right? I'm a real engineer. And so, I get involved in, the details of our company right down to the technology level. But I'm also working on very high level strategic things and even regulatory things. So I'm not one of these guys that, only needs 3 hours of sleep a day. I live more of a balanced lifestyle. Like I like to get about 7 hours of sleep a day, married with kids and like to get some exercise, but I put in a, solid, 78 hours a week on the job working at, whether it's doing M&A deals or making sure that, something with our technology platform that's an important initiative for us is on track. And actually, I really love talking to our scientists and so on. So I probably indulge myself in that area a little more than I should.
You and I both. I mean, if it's under 4 hours, I feel it for the rest of the day, and everyone around me is miserable as well. So I respect that. Talking about your schedule, I've kind of noticed over the last year that you've been traveling more and more. Do you find it helpful into ultimately meeting these large companies, either existing clients or potential clients, going to these conferences, going to these event-related shows? How has your travel schedule changed from last year to this year?
Right. Well, more broadly speaking, I would say that, my travel used to be associated with customers and setting up distributors around the world, right? Today, I don't really do that anymore. My travel schedule is associated with, we have employees in different parts of the world. So, it's really important to spend time with employees and make sure that even though they're not at the headquarters, they're part of the corporate culture and a critical part of the team. And then associated with acquisitions and strategic partners, I guess. Mostly, I guess I would say I travel to Europe rather than the United States, but a little bit to the United States as well.
In terms of current deployment, how many of your devices are out there and active currently?
Yeah, about 1,000.
Awesome.
So we're definitely not a pre-revenue company. We've got validatable customer base. We hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of really like enthusiastic customer testimonials, and I don't know what the total amount of revenue is, but it's probably somewhere around $70 million that of equipment that we've sold.
This might be a question you can't answer publicly, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Do you get to see all the tests that all your customers do, almost kind of as a overall composite? Because my question is, where are most of the tests being performed? What are they actually trying to analyze? Because, how can I put this? The spectrum is vast. And how will that help you guys, with what you're creating and how the product evolves over time?
Yeah, so a lot of our customers are pharmaceutical companies, and they'll use our instrument in R&D or a little bit in quality control. So it's quite detailed work, it's important to emphasize, especially with a lot of the sort of the news that's out there recently in certain areas. Our product's not like a magic bullet. It's not capable of doing everything for everybody all the time. No, it's actually quite focused. It's used by professionals in very specific areas. So they're doing detailed work or in quality control. They want to make sure that, like, if they get feedstocks for their pharmaceuticals, that there's no impurities in there and so on. So our products is used by cosmetic companies like P&G, all different types of companies. And that's sort of, when I talk about we're in the early stage of our business, most of our customers now use our product as kind of a general purpose analyzer. And they do many different types of tests on the same instrument. But where we're going with it is we're going to be developing products that are branded for specific tests and only do that. And that's where I talk about companies like Bosch and Sartec taking our products deep into particular verticals for very specific tests.
Sean, we have less than 5 minutes, but we still have 4 questions. So let's go through these. Randall asks, hi, Sean, any update on the 100 megahertz production?
Yeah, we talked about that after our Q3 call. Things are proceeding as planned, as I mentioned on that call, and we expect to increase production as we speak. And our target that we're shooting for is an immediate target of 10 units per month, and then we'll try to build on that going forward.
Lindsay asks, can you say anything about your medical MRI projects? Are you currently building a prototype device or devices? Ooh, this is a good one.
With partners, we're engaged in discussions with regards to that. We do have a real medical imaging product that we sell. It's the MRI console. It's not the full system. In other words, it doesn't include the miniaturized magnet part of it, but it does include the electronics and the software, the same electronics and software that's in all of our products. So it's a common technology platform, and we'll have some exciting announcements about where we're going on the MRI front in 2022.
And then the final question is, did one of your guys actually analyze candy corn with one of your devices, and what were their findings?
I'm gonna plead agnostic on that one. I actually don't know. I know we have tremendous blogs about all different types of applications. If somebody's really interested in geeking out on this, I recommend they go to our website, and then under applications and so on, there's a place where there's a blog, a chemistry blog, and it talks about all the different things that we've tested. It wouldn't surprise me if we've tested candy corn. We've tested everything from different types of cosmetics to olive oil to jet fuel to cognac and everything. So go on the blog and check it out.
Honestly, I truly don't give a damn what the findings for candy corn are. I think it's disgusting.
Okay. I respect your opinion on that. I'm gonna say I don't think I've ever had candy corn.
You're not missing out on anything. Maybe I'm pretty sure Matt probably has a stash somewhere in the office, but it's a one-way street for me. Like once I see it, I get all the emotions I don't want. Sean, where can people find out more information on the company?
Go to our website at www.nanalysis.com. Nanalysis is like the word analysis, but with an N in the front.
And I apologize for this. There is one more question from Bill. Do you have any expectations of adding more institutional investors to Nanalysis in 2022? That's a good question, Bill. Thank you.
It's definitely part of our plan to really build out more institutional support. We've had some tremendous institutional support. I don't think people would mind me saying, groups like Venator Capital, Marathon Capital, Pathfinder Group in Vancouver, but our investor base is still largely retail, and it's definitely part of our plan to get more institutional support going forward, for sure.
No, I'm telling you, I think you're at the cusp. You're about that 100 million market cap. You're going to get a new set of funds that are going to look at it 100 million that think the company can be worth between 250 and 500. But it really gets interesting as you get bigger, because just the number of funds that can buy the stock increases. But trust me when I tell you this, based off all ldmicro.com metrics, people follow you very closely. So with that, Sean, thank you again. And I look forward to hopefully talking with you before the year is over.
Thanks again, Chris. It's been awesome as usual, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thanks, man. You be well.
You too.
Bye-bye.